Like with most games, there are a variety of speedrunning and world record categories in World of Warcraft. There's server first races when new expansions come out, where players race to be the first to hit max level. There's also guilds, and well now realistically orgs, will race to be the first to complete new raids on release, and then also aim to clear it faster than anybody else. And lastly, there's general speedrunning from level 1 to max, or other meme categories like racing to level 10 or completing a starting zone. But as with most things in life, I am simply not good enough to compete with the highest echelon that these champions do for these prestigious awards. So instead of training and spending time to become better at them, I instead decided to simply create my own. Introducing the level 2 speedrun category. I actually made a short video about this before, just to save the YouTube algorithm that requires you to always be uploading, I hate my life, but wanted to take this about 3 levels further. So first, how do you reach level 2 in Classic WoW? It's really simple, to no surprise, and it doesn't take much time at all. You need 400 experience points, which is 8 level 1 mobs. And I'm sure most of you are probably thinking, but don't the players at speedrun beat you to level 2? And the answer is actually no. Because these other players don't stop at level 2, their goal isn't about optimizing a path to gaining 400 experience points, but rather the fastest way to complete the starting area. They will spend time picking up the starting quest, and sometimes will focus on getting to a different area in the region. We simply need to kill these 8 mobs as fast as humanly possible. A few other questions you might be having. Don't you get more experience points for killing higher level mobs? And the answer is yes, but not enough to only need 7 mobs. Using my degree in mathematics that I don't really use anywhere else in life and made me question a whole lot of things, we can see that you earn a perfect 400 XP from killing 8 level 1 mobs. Killing 7 level 2 mobs would only bring you to about 367.5 XP due to the 5% extra from killing mobs, let alone the fact that you killing level 2 or 3s will take longer due to them having higher HP and a better chance to resist or dodge your attacks. What about turning in the starting quest in Elwynn Forest? It does provide you 40 XP, the same amount that a level 1 mob does, but takes you about 10 additional seconds to walk from the quest giver to the turn-in and then walk back towards the wolves, making it not really worth it. If there is a better way than killing 8 mobs, then I'm all ears, but I really do think this is the best. So, now that we got our strat down, which starting area should we consider? Doing my due diligence, I tried out all of them and found the dwarf to be the best, followed by human. They both have a tight packing of level 1 mobs that are close to where you spawn. The undead starting zone was terrible. There is a long walk just to get to some mobs, and there are not enough together that doesn't lead to downtime as you head to another. The Tauren wasn't terrible, but my runs might have had bad RNG, with level 2 Planestriders spawning instead of level 1. There can also lead to a decent space gap between mobs, leading to downtime that you simply can't afford to have. The orc starting zone is similar to the undead, where there's not a lot of tight packs of mobs, and the run distance is pretty far to find mobs at the start. Night Elf is really annoying, but potentially viable. There are just too many level 2 to 3 boars and those little imp thingies to realistically get consistent attempts in, because you do need to find exactly 8 level 1 mobs. So I would prefer to go dwarf, human, or Tauren starting area, but also try out some stuff like Night Elf or Druid due to only having 2 choices. So, without further ado, let's get into some of the classes that did not go well. There very well may be some Giga Chat out there that can get a spellcaster to compete with melee times, but that person just isn't me. So these classes all start with 2 water restore items, we'll call them drinks. These are critical as you will go very quickly. Here are some quick calcs for how many casts you can get off before you go and how many hits it takes to kill a mob before you go Generally, the strat is to kill 2 or 3 mobs, if you get lucky with a crit, drink the full, then kill 2 to 3 more mobs, drink your second water, and then finish off with killing the remaining amount of mobs and dinging. Druid in particular felt awful. You only get the Night Elf or Tauren starting area, and your spells don't seem as efficient as the other casters. You do more melee damage, but not enough to make up for the negatives. I will say just in general with the resists, I really hated having to do the spellcasters. I did about 10 runs with each class, and just getting resist after resist to ruin a run or to limit how fast a run would be, it just feels really bad. I'm not sure, again, if it's just my RNG with having about 10 runs per class, but the melee did not have nearly as many issues with misses, parries, dodges, and that kind of stuff. Paladins and rogues are basically outclassed by what a warrior can do. I'm assuming this is because the paladin gets a heal, it doesn't get the same damage output as a warrior, and the rogue's excess power and eviscerate is useless, as mobs die at 2 combo points anyways, and 1 combo point eviscerates hit like a wet rag. Speaking of the better melee, we got the warrior. There's actually some variance in what the warrior starts with. Dwarf, Orc, and Tauren get to start with a 2-hander, while the rest start with sword and shield. And fitting with class fantasy, it's way better to go with the 2-hander. It slaps enemies down, requiring only 2 to 3 hits depending on how many heroic strikes you go for. Plus, with the longer weapon timer, you have more time to go from mob to mob compared with the quick one-hander. Thus, Dwarf is where I'm mostly focused, earning some good times, beating out pretty much every other class. Trying to optimize rage as you can, quickly lose some, just enough to a point where you don't get a heroic strike on your first attack on a new mob. After some optimizing, here's my 1 minute 21 second run, which is my second best overall time. So as we zone in here, we immediately cancel out of that. I do run the hardcore add-on just because it gives you the automatic time at the end. If I want to go for a super serious run, well then I get rid of that to save that click. But as you see, the first time period is definitely running up to the first mob. The nice thing about the dwarf starting area is you have a bunch of wolves right here in the beginning, and that's actually one of the quickest runs. On this first mob here, you see I got kind of unlucky with a low health mob on that. I do make it to the second mob pretty much as the timer is coming up for the weapon, and again kind of get stuck with doing a third here, which is okay because I get to generate another heroic strike, but you see I run out just in time for the next wolf. There's definitely some time to be saved on this. I kind of did 10 attempts for each and didn't want to keep going. So you can see I'm a little bit lazy there, but as we're getting to the next mob here, I kind of start to get a little more optimized in this run, get a little lucky. See that mob killed in 2 hits, when the other one took 3. This wolf here, I'm pretty sure it goes down after this heroic strike here. Yeah, the second half of this run just goes a lot smoother. There's a little bit of a time delay here, about like maybe 0.25 seconds there, where I didn't get my next attack off after the weapon timer finished. But as you can see, just in this zone in general, there's so many mobs put together here, and if you get lucky enough where your axe is able to 2-hit instead of 3-hit, you can really piece together some time. I got a 121 here, as you'll see in a few seconds, but you could easily get it down to about a 115 with perfectly optimized play, I think. And then obviously maybe a bit further with more crits. So Warrior was actually the first class I did, and this was really early on. I thought, hell, maybe Warrior would actually be the best. Ironically enough, considering everyone considers it the worst leveling class, and rightfully so. However, I then decided to experiment with the last class to cover, Hunter. This class is definitely the best, but my god is it annoying to micromanage while racing. So while it is already faster than most classes by just auto-shotting and kiting mobs, you can get faster than Warriors by auto-shotting a mob a few times, then swapping to a second target. You then melee weave between auto-shots on the first mob near you. There is no spell pushback like on casters, so you can effectively eliminate any downtime between mobs, while also increasing your damage output by getting in free melee swings at no cost. Like stated earlier, this is actually really annoying to do, and with most melees, there's a decent chance you will get parried or dodged, so it does add some RNG to it. As you see here, I lost a sub 120 run to this wolf. Anyways, I eventually got a sub 1 minute 20 second run here, which you'll see. So I think for now I'll rest on my laurels and that I have a world record that likely no one cares enough to beat. I hope you guys enjoyed this meme-tastic world record. Feel free to try it out on your own. It doesn't take much to do. Let me know in the comments when you beat me. I'm excited to see if someone finds a way to radically make this faster. Take care and sub up for the next video. It's coming out soon.